had done during the war.
Yeah.
And what do? Take each one on their knee and explain the same thing over and over?
Yeah.
No, just wait to write it down. They can read it and add their own interpretation to it.
And when did you write this book? Was it 05 or something like that? I'm trying to remember. I don't think is that long ago.
No.
2019, is that when you wrote it?
Possible.
Yeah, right before COVID.
Oh, I don't know. Everything seems to zero around COVID.
Yeah, I know. Pre or post COVID, right?
Historical marker.
Yeah.
Up a little bit. There, that's it.
And I don't know whether it was before or after. I wasn't interested in either. COVID before or COVID after.
Yeah. So normally what we like to do is we like to ask people that we're going to interview, you know, where they were when Pearl Harbor was attacked. What were they doing? Because that's usually something that, you know, every veteran who fought in World War II remembers. Mm-hmm. And they can also, you know, tell us a bit about where they were living, what they were doing, how they ended up getting drafted or volunteered in the service. And then after that, we'll just have you take us through basically a lot of what's in your book, the experience, how you ended up in the military, what your training was like, how you ended up in the OSS, just anything. And you don't need to worry about it being precisely chronological order. What matters is that whatever you've experienced that you feel comfortable sharing with us today, that you share it with us so that future generations can appreciate that.
Yeah.
We'll probably ask some follow-up questions at the end. And there may be times during the interview that I may ask, you know, to explain something a little differently. Mm-hmm. But most of the time, you know, we're going to be listening, because we didn't come here to hear me.
No.
We came here to hear you.
Okay.
So do you need anything before we get started, or do you something to drink, or are you ready to go?
I guess I'm ready to go. I got water here too.
All right. So could you state your full name to the camera, please?
Ellsworth Johnson. I hate that name.
I know. 'Cause
that's why I changed it to Al Johnson.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
And so for the camera, because it's running right now, this is the book we're referring to, Behind Enemy Lines, that you wrote in 19, and there's Al Johnson on there, so clearly you prefer that. And so do you also consent to allowing us to use your interview to send to the Library of Congress and for the Warrior Next Door podcast? Is it okay if we share those stories with other people?
Yeah, that doesn't put me in an evil position.
No, it doesn't. And we have some forms that we'll have Shelley help you fill out later that will formalize that. So if you have any questions.
Well, one thing I've always said, I don't like to sign anything.
Oh, that's fine. You don't have to.
Right.
The main thing is that, you know, you're okay with us submitting these to the Library of Congress and also using it for our podcast, if you're okay with that. Okay, that's wonderful. So today's date is July 6th, 2023. We're in Zeeland, Michigan. We're here with Al Johnson, who was a member of the OSS during World War II. Al, we'll just start off. What were you doing when Pearl Harbor was attacked?
I was on my uncle's farm, which is a few miles north of here, and it was a Sunday afternoon, and we took a little ride. We rode over to the Uncle Garrett's farm, and they were gone. But in those days, no one locked doors. They were available, coming and going, whatever you needed. And Pearl Harbor didn't amount to a hill of beans as far as I was concerned. It was just another, I suppose, Oriental city, and that was the extent of it for that day.
Okay. Were you a farmer yourself? Were you in high school? Were you in college? What were you doing at the time?
I was probably 16 or 17 at that time.
Yeah. So were you concerned about being pulled into the war effort? Was that something you were thinking then?
What, a teenager interested in what's going on in the world? Forget it. I was interested in what's going on next door.
Right.
You know, that meant nothing. Actually, meant nothing to me.
Yeah.
That I can recall.
Yeah.
And so, you want me to continue on this?
Yeah.
And then we, of course, went back home to Grand Rapids, and I got a notice in the mail. Of course, the Dear John letter, congratulations, you have been chosen or selected. And then of course I had to go register, so I did my duty in that area, and figured if they want me, they're going to have to come and get me. And I did finally receive my notice that I had to register or sign up. And I was when I went on, I was actually close to 19 years of age.
So would this have been around 1942 then?
43, yeah.
43 is when they basically said, you're going to be joining the military, come with us?
That's right.
Okay.
So I signed up, and we were shipped to Battle Creek. I can't remember the name of it. And I was put in the medical corps, and I had no desire to be a medic. I wanted to be in a fighting group. All of the people I went in with all got into an army fighting group, I suppose. I never did see many of them after that. So I signed up, joined up, and was assigned as a medic and shipped to San Antonio, Texas for my basic training. I went through medical training there, and was shipped to San Antonio, Texas, in which Fort Sam Houston there was a large hospital there, and I took all the training I could get. His father always said to me, if you're going to transfer out of one branch to another, make sure you get all the information you can before you go. You may need it. So I became a scrub nurse and was shipped to Denver, Colorado, which I was then put on an assignment for the next position open as a scrub nurse. That wouldn't have been so bad, but I saw a notice on the bulletin board saying that OSS was interested in accepting volunteers for hazardous duty. And I thought, well, that was the thing that I should do.
Had you heard of the OSS before?
Never heard of it.
What made you look at that poster and say, I want to do this?
Because it was hazardous duty.
Really?
Well, I couldn't transfer down. You can only transfer up. And OSS was above all the listings of availability. So I signed up.
So what is signing up for what ultimately became a commando unit? What does that look like? Because tell us about the OSS.
Well, we were shipped to Washington, D.C., and we were then assigned, or you have to remember the words are there, but they can't be drawn out for some reason. It must be my age.
Well, I think you're doing pretty good for a 100-year-old, or you're doing pretty good for a 60-year-old person.
Well, okay. So we were then sworn in as spies and espionage agents, and we had to, we of course sacrificed ourselves because we had to stay at the Congressional Country Club. But that was about 9 miles north, and of course it was not being used during the war years because, well, just because it wasn't being used. It was just like all the national parks were shut down as well, and OSS used those parks for training. We had about 3 months of basic training, which took in the use of weaponry, the use of dynamite, et cetera, all the difficult parts. We had then, from there we were transferred to what is now Camp David, but was then just a bunch of fields that we owned, that Congress had. Anyway, we took our advanced training in weaponry. Now you understand, everybody used, whether you were a medic, Geneva Convention, out the door. So we had, everybody took the basic OSS training, and I've lost a sentence in there somewhere.
What was the basic OSS training consisting of? What sort of things they have you do?
Live off the fat of the land. Of course, we were awakened at 6 o'clock, and we ran 5 miles. Then we came back and had breakfast, and then we put an hour calisthenics, and then the day began. Now in camp, you could wear anything you wanted. There was no restriction on uniform. If you went out at night or to Washington for a leave or et cetera, you'd have to abide by the rules of dress and dress code and et cetera. So we were going to take our parachute training at Fort Benning, Georgia, but because there was such a large need for our expertise to be in service and use, we were shipped to North Africa, where Benning had a jump school.
So North Africa. So this would have been around what time? What year?
First part of '44.
So it would have been after North Africa was conquered and occupied by the Allies.
That's right.
And so, what was it like going to North Africa to train how to jump on planes?
You remember the old 40 and 8 boxcars?
Yeah.
Okay, we took those from Casablanca to Algiers, and our camp was a small city by the name of Aiguillon. No, that was in France. Guyottville. I don't know how to spell it, but Guyottville. And Algiers was an interesting looking city. It was built on a slope that overlooked the Mediterranean. It was quite picturesque. And of course, that's my nature, to find all those stupid little things that are picturesque. But our groups were broken down into 50 men per nationality. There was the Italians and the Germans, the Czechoslovakians, and I think that included all the Balkan states, and French and Norwegian. Now I have a Norwegian background, but I was put in the French group. So there was about 80% of the individuals in each group of 50 were fluent in their native language. The other 20% were like myself, didn't know any French, but I knew medics. So that's why we got into those areas. And I have tons of pictures if you're interested.
I am. I'd like to go through those after the interview with you if you're okay with that.
Good.
Yeah.
And so we were shipped to Northampton, England, and we took English Commando training. And that involved a dash of humor. Do you mind?
No, not at all.
Okay. We took the English Commando training, which included parachuting out of a balloon.
Okay.
They were going to bring us in with Liberator, B-24 Liberators, with the ball turret removed, and we would enter France that way. And so we said to the English, of course they had big balloons, and the balloons had a basket with a hole the size of that we're going to be using. And we said to the English, why do you only have one parachute? What happens if your main chute fails and you don't have a parachute?
Yeah.
Well, don't worry about that, Yank. We just bring back the old chute and we'll give you a brand new one. But that's
typical British kind of
typical
humor.
British, right? Yeah. So our assignment became the southern invasion of France. We spearheaded the southern invasion of France, and our objective was at Aiguë Zone, France, and I've got a map of that too.
Okay.
And capture a hydroelectric plant.
Huh.
And the city of Aiguë Zone, apparently the hydroelectric plant
Yeah.
was on the Aiguë Zone River.
So I had a chance to look at that on Google Maps,
Yeah,
and there's still a hydroelectric plant there. Is that the same one?
I think so.
Okay.
I can show you. Well, let me see.
Yeah.
It's in the other room, you know.
Yeah. We can check it out later. So what sort of special training did you guys receive to be able to capture a hydroelectric plant?
No, there were 18 of us, and actually there were 25 of us, but Colonel Obolinski had some of his Norwegian men that went in with us.
Okay.
But 18 of us were French, and we're the ones that did the bulk of the damage. Now, of course, we were to capture the plant and make sure that that's in the book, of course, make sure that it wouldn't be blown by the Germans or destroyed in any way, because that would be a terrible setback for the southern invasion. We were in there about 30 days ahead of time, and we worked with the French. Now, we had the opportunity to work with the French to use weaponry that we brought along and furnish the French underground, the Maquis, or FFI. They issued. I think the FFI was probably the French Communist Party.
Okay.
But we had a common enemy, so we worked together.
Well, how did you get there?
We came B-24 Liberator bombers.
How they don't have a jump door. How did you get out of that?
The ball turret on the bottom.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's why we took the English parachute training, because that's how they went in, with a ball turret removed, and we went down the hole.
So let me get this straight. When you were in England training for this, and they had you up in a balloon,
Yeah.
and you were jumping through a hole,
Right.
did you know why you were being trained to jump out of a hole then? Did you know
Yep.
it was to be in a B-24?
Yep.
So how did you feel? Because most paratroopers have this big jump door and this static line, and they just jump out, and you had to jump through a hole.
That's right.
I mean, was that something
All you do
that...
is put your legs in the hole and you're gone.
That's it?
That's it. There's no handles to hang. Oh, I don't want to go.
You just kind of jumped in the hole and that's it?
You just put your legs, just cross that kind of cross-legged.
Yep.
You just put your feet out the hole and away you go.
Oh my gosh. So, what was that what was that experience like? I mean, coming out in the parachute, how high were you? How hard did you land?
About 500 feet height.
Wow.
And that was, it was under the radar. And you had to jump within a certain area, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because the faster you go, the higher you go, the longer the distance between Joe Doe and Pete Smith.
Yeah.
And so that would not be good. You could all jump within maybe a quarter of a mile would be fine.
So when you came out of the plane, was it violent? Did you get any sense of falling?
No, as a matter of fact, it was a lot easier out of the B-24 than the C-47.
Really?
The C-47, you could fare down that engine to 90 miles an hour, but that was enough wind blast jumping out of a C-47 to when the parachute opened and the harness straightened out, you'd get strawberries on your shoulder. So that's why we had to go in low.
Yeah.
And you could only get 5 men in a plane because we had the bomb bays were loaded with the equipment.
So they were pushing equipment and men out of these bombers.
That's right.
And when you landed, how quickly were you guys able to kind of muster to what was the landing like?
Well, I looked at my watch before I went out. It said 1:20. So, and of course it was a dark night, fortunately. And well, let me see. Yeah, we got 3 planes came in, got in first. I was in the first group, and the last 2 planes couldn't find us, so they went back to England and came back the next day, or next night, and we found them. And now, getting back to the personnel, the number, etc. We were able to utilize about 1,200 underground at one time. It was a matter of a grapevine. Joe, we're meeting at so and so, and we're gonna blow up something, and that's how the grapevine. That's how the French telephone worked.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, rather than, there was no other way, except maybe by bicycle. And one guy said, "The British are coming. The British are." And there was none of that. No, but so it was a matter of utilizing what was available, but bringing it up to modern day terms. Modern day meaning 1945, that sort of thing.
So you brought weapons, communications, equipment, that sort of thing with you?
Oh yeah, everybody went through I even went through radio school in case it was necessary. But
so how many of the commandos landed? And did everyone make it there okay? 18?
18 of us, right.
Were you the only medic?
Oh yeah.
So you were in charge of the health and well-being of all 18 of those men and anyone else?
That's right.
Okay.
And then we had a radio operator, and we had demolition experts and things like that. But everybody knew how to put a Band-Aid on someone. Right. Yeah. And everybody, and even the medic knew how to operate a 50 caliber machine gun. So we were kind of self-contained. And
so how long did it take for you guys to land and gather your equipment? How long did it take you to do that, and then to meet with the resistance and start your mission?
well, the resistance were waiting for us.
Oh, okay. So they're already there.
They were already there, right? They knew where the field was, and they knew the pattern of the fire of the bonfires.
Mm-hmm.
So to identify.
So
we
they
identify who we were.
I want to make sure I understand that. So they lit bonfires,
Yeah.
so you knew where the men were to
Right.
drop.
That's right.
Ah, okay. So that's how they signaled the landing zone then.
That's right.
Okay.
So that was all planned by the people that got in there before we did.
So here you are. You're this. How old were you at this time when you dropped?
Let's see, I must have been 20.
You're a 20-year-old man, young man,
Yeah.
from Southwest Michigan.
Right.
You're being trained in espionage.
Yeah.
You've already had a jump school in North Africa,
Right.
and now you're in France with. I mean, did you get a sense that you were on this great adventure? Did you appreciate that then?
I don't think the young. I think the what's the saying? Is wasted on the young. Youth is wasted on the young.
Yep.
Okay, that's there we are. We were all high schoolers, and just looking for some excitement back home. They stick a gun in your hand, and you jump you into France and say, "This is what you're going to do."
Yeah.
I don't know if there was just we didn't say, "Boy, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that?"
Yeah.
You got a job to do it.
Yeah.
So we did it.
Yeah. So what was it like to make contact with the French resistance?
Well, of course, I was limited because of my inability to speak fluent French, or even poorly.
Any type of French.
Any type of French, right? Yeah. So what you learn, merci beaucoup.
Yeah.
Il n'est pas de quoi. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Yep.
Yeah.
Parlez-vous anglais?
That's when you get your face slapped.
Right.
But so anyway, we had the ability to call up the number of underground that we needed, and we did physical damage, but we also did psychological and mental damage, because they didn't know where we were going to hit them and how much we were going to use, and some of them were
All right.
yeah, some of the ambushes. There you are. You found it. Some of the ambushes were large. Some were small.
Well, hold on, 'cause I want to talk about those.
Yeah.
What about the taking of the dam? Explain to us what happened there.
Well, we had we used a Catholic priest as a means, a go-between. We didn't. I think the hydroelectric plant was probably manned by a smaller, less efficient company of men, and they probably had more fun in town than they had watching the dam.
Yeah.
And we negotiated a settlement. Colonel Obolensky, you probably heard that name before. Colonel Obolensky was instrumental in getting a meeting between the Germans and our forces. Now we didn't tell him how many people we had, but we let the Germans believe that we had a large contingent of U.S. personnel, and it was a matter of oh shoot, I hate that when that happens.
I hate when it happens to me too.
Yeah, but you can overcome faster than I used to be able to do it when I'm making speeches, but
I don't know if I'll live to be 100, so I think you're already way ahead of me.
no. So we negotiated a settlement that if they left by 5 o'clock the following morning, the next morning, then we wouldn't chase them down or etc. And if they were not out of there by 5 o'clock in the morning, we would be coming in.
Guns a-blazing.
That's right. So we had a good number of French personnel. Because a lot of the French could speak English because of their living in that area where they had contact with England and et cetera.
Yeah.
So it was a matter of being able to just in a juvenile sense of the word.
Well, how big do you think your total force was if you included your men and then the French resistance? How many men do you guys think you had?
Well, as I say, we could take as many as we could drum up as many as 1,200 people.
Oh, okay. So it was a sizable force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which did happen.
So did just
the
really
next
quick,
morning?
Did the Germans leave?
The next morning, the Germans were gone. They took everything but their bed bugs.
So what was it like when you first approached the dam and occupied it? Because you weren't sure that they left. I'm sure you guys were cautious, right?
Well, we thought this was ideal. We were dumped into a small barn near Les Blancs, and we thought that was acceptable living. But when we saw the hydroelectric plant and the sleeping quarters and the restaurant facilities, we thought, boy, this is a place to come.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but the bed bugs won.
Oh.
And I mean, it was red with bed bugs.
Really?
So we decided to go back
to the barn.
To the barn. Right.
So here you are thinking, oh, we're going to have these proper military barracks.
The Ritz-Carlton barn. So.
And so, you guys had captured the bridge without firing a shot, which is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
The Germans are gone. Were you guys done? Did you fly home or what happened?
No. Then we, getting the hydroelectric plant was probably done within the first 5 days. And of course it needed to be protected so that they wouldn't come back in and do the damage. So of course naturally the people that had run the dam before the war, miserable, isn't it?
What's that?
The sofa.
Oh no, it's good. I just got tired of the camera between you and me, so I thought I'd move over to the right.
Okay. Well, anyway, they went back to taking care of the hydroelectric plant, the people that had run it before, and we had, of course, French underground that were well armed and guarding the area, so and far enough out so that there could be information transferred, like here come the Germans or etc.
How good was the intel that you got from the French resistance?
Well, it's all pretty good stuff. Even down to the small talk.
Yeah.
Right. Usually your intelligence came from a ambassador level, and dinners in the moonlight and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But we get the information that there's a large contingent moving from point A to point B, which wouldn't probably register in anybody's list of importance. But Eisenhower accepted all of our communique.
So you felt like the intel that you guys were able to provide was actionable.
Oh yeah.
Good. So did you see any Germans while you were after the dam? Did you guys? You talked about ambushes.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any ambushes with the German troops there?
Oh yeah.
So what happened?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's mentally blocked out.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I know we were. I think I put that in the book too. We were informed that a small contingent of Germans, like maybe a squad or two, were in a given area. Our captain, Captain Cook, got half a dozen of us together, and we went looking for these Germans because Cookie wanted to. And that's why we called him.
With Cookie?
Cookie wanted to get any information he could out of it. And there were three of us, Gardner, who was the radio operator, myself, the medic, and Roy Gallant, who spoke very good English, very good French. And we understood they were at a chateau, and the three of us went to the left. The other three went to the right. We were going to. we were kids, you know. We were going to see if we could find any Germans. Well, we found several children, and one of them was having a seizure. I think it was probably an epileptic fit. He was laying on the ground shaking. You know, I bent down. He was about to swallow his tongue, it looked to me, so I pulled that tongue out, put a stick of wood in his mouth, and we went on and approached the chateau, which they invited us in for dinner. So, yeah.
Okay.
So there were so few of us that you could hide easily right under the nose of the Germans, because you didn't have to dress in uniform, and if you spoke the French language, you could probably get by with conversation. So that was a type of environment we were exposed to.
I think there was, let me pull out the book really quick. I've got a few page numbers here. One of the things that you write about is an experience where the Germans had moved into Châtellerault.
Châteauroux.
That's it, Châteauroux. And they had shot the mayor and several officials.
Right.
And then hearing of this, you guys returned to LeBlanc, and that was still your base of operations. And I think there was wasn't there some sort of action that was related to you guys hearing about that or not?
Well, the Germans came back and killed the mayor and the officials. I know we blew a bridge. Rudy Dolenthal was our demolition expert, and we blew the bridge to prevent the Germans from coming back. But they apparently found a side road or a cart path or whatever it was, and came back and took care of the mayor and his. We had a number of small ambushes that never amounted to too much, because well, the words got out. If we said we're going to, if the French said to us or to the people, we're going to blow up a road, or we're going to make it difficult for the Germans to get through. Sometimes that was picked up and information was gotten out to the locals, and they were all excited when the Americans come marching into town.
Yeah.
And so we would have to fight our own people, not actually shoot.
Right.
But when they were giving instructions to blow up a bridge, sometimes well, a lot of the women were oh shoot.
So did Germans have informers too then?
Yeah, they had informants as well.
Yeah.
And
I read in your book that some of the women had relationships with some of the young German soldiers.
Right.
That was a problem.
That was a problem, because sometimes that would leak out.
Yeah.
No.
Right. But there's still that psychological effect that you were referring to. The fact that you guys are there, they know that there's people there, they don't know how many men that they can rally. So how long did you stay in France before you guys were able to leave and be redeployed somewhere else?
About 30 days.
About 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Do you remember how you guys were extracted?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the first thing we saw was an American tank.
Oh, okay.
And they were, I know it was, I don't think Patton got that far down.
So you think it might be the Southern Force coming up, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what army it was, but one of the tank drivers yelled at us, "What are you guys doing here?" Well, we're waiting for you.
Yeah, what took you so long?
That's just about it. Well, so that after being identified by the people, that we were told that we had to go back to England.
Okay.
Now, apparently, the Germans kept small airfields active in order to pick up flyers that German planes that had to be refueled so they could continue their forays. And this was a small field that we found, and I couldn't tell you the name of it because I don't think I knew it. But we captured the field and called the C-47 in, and they picked us up within a very short time.
This is a field that the Germans were using as well.
That's right.
So how did you guys just sneak out, or?
Well, we didn't sneak out, but we got in the plane, and that ended our participation in the war in France. What the French underground did, we'll never know because we were in the air by the time they took over. I imagine they had an execution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I know Cookie and I were walking near a captured, or a couple of captured German officers, and the French were interviewing them, and they pleaded with us to do something about, because they knew what the French were going to do, and when we did not agree to do anything, but when we walked on further, we heard a couple of shots, and we knew it was, they weren't killing chickens.
Yeah.
Right.
So would the French underground, if they didn't have a use for them, would they execute a lot of prisoners then?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right.
You know, well, you couldn't keep a prisoner.
Yep.
You put him in a chicken coop, you know. So the best thing during a war, I suppose, is to eliminate the enemy, right?
What would happen if you guys have gotten captured?
Well, see, I should really have my books. I can.
Do you want to? Do you want me to get the books?
Just your dad
Yeah.
can go in there, in the bedroom, and hang a right. We brought in an awful lot of material.
Oh wow! You got a Sten gun there. You brought in like British guns, 6,600 rounds.
Yep.
2-inch mortars.
Yep.
Corned beef.
Yep.
Biscuits.
Everything.
So this is all the stuff that you guys brought into France.
That's right.
Okay. And do you remember Alfred T. Cox, Lieutenant Colonel? Was he someone that was part of your unit or someone else?
No, that's the Colonel Cox. Yeah, he was active.
Okay. And what are these photos of?
Well, these photos. There's me right there. But that was one of a reunion. This was also General Donovan.
Right there?
He's the one that always has his thumbs in his.
Oh, right there.
That's him.
That's him right there. I
And
didn't
that's
realize
me,
he did
right.
that.
There's me up there. And what I was gonna. What were you?
So I was just kind of, wondering what would have happened to you if you had gotten captured
Oh, yeah.
over there.
Okay, if I'd have gotten intact there, let me see.
But if you want to go through these pictures first, go ahead. I'm going to put clips in here. I can do this in any order.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you want to set it here and do it, you can do that too. It's your call.
Well.
You want to do that?
Whatever you want me to do.
Whatever's easier for you. Who is that? You right there?
That's me. Yeah, I was a sergeant, but I didn't have. There was no place to buy chevrons, so I still ran around with corporal stripes.
What is this right there? What is that badge? That looks like an airborne badge. Is that airborne?
Yeah, I have. See that shirt laying right there, that fella is open up.
Oh.
Yeah, there, the middle one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's unassigned airborne.
Unassigned airborne.
Well, we had people in the 101st and the 82nd and 501, I think it was one, and they all were in our group.
Yep.
So we had competition within the group of competitors, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the airborne.
Interesting. And so these are documents that you didn't, like this, that you wouldn't have had access to at the time, but you can now because of the Freedom of Information Act and all that.
Right. In the closet is a jumpsuit.
Oh.
Bring it out. Yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh, you have that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't wear it.
Oh my
It's
goodness
too small.
gracious. Look at this. Oh.
All of my
amazing.
clothing shrunk.
Yeah, it does that as you get older. Isn't that weird?
I know it.
Look at
the
that.
abdominal processes.
Oh, this is amazing. There's the Special Forces
Yeah, I know that's
badge, and there's the
English
yep,
and
the English Commando, and then you have on this side your unassigned airborne,
yeah,
and then you got all three of your chevrons on here. There's your
Right.
jump qualified.
yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. Oh, I'm gonna pause and go back to video.
Well, I'm glad that interests you.
This does interest me. Could you just go ahead and hang that right here, Dax? I'm gonna take a picture with him later, with that next to him. So what else is in this
Well, I was
book?
looking for that the statement from the about the Germans slaughtering the commandos on sight.
Okay.
No,
School of Death.
Yeah,
That's
that-
Brock Hall.
yeah,
Is that where you had your commando training?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's where we stayed too.
Okay.
This is where I had a nice infirmary.
And you would have worked out of that infirmary to.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also, I don't know if you people like cats or dogs, but we had one of each as a
Like a mascot.
mascot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cat was just a loving cat, nice big white cat. We made a parachute for her, and and a harness,
Yep.
and she just loved to parachute. We take
So
her-
where did you
take-
parachute her out of?
Take her out. We took her to the top of the Brock Hall, and made sure that the chute would open by wrapping it in a proper way. And then we threw the cat, and the chute would open, and the cat would come down smiling.
What the heck's going on here? Oh.
Yeah. And the dog, I think, was nuts because he barked at all the airplanes that went over.
Which was probably quite frequently, right?
Oh yeah, he'd bark, 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 and running across the field, a dumb dog.
Do you remember the names of the cat or the dog?
Pardon?
Do you remember their names at all?
No.
No, I don't. You don't.
The
Okay, I'm
cat,
just curious.
the cat didn't mind. She slept with anybody he wanted to.
Really? That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So
Yeah.
these are some of the. There you go.
There we are.
The Special Forces insignia. The
Yeah,
command
we got these
rings.
when we were in England, so I
Mhm.
know they are the original.
Mhm.
There's several copies of this, and I understand there's a monetary value is quite high.
Yeah, the original badges.
That,
yeah.
And this is an original. That was original also.
Yeah, one that you earned. And
Yeah.
and are they, what about the money over here? Is this any
Oh,
of the
yeah,
money that
this
they
is-
gave you when you
this
landed?
This is French money.
But
And-
was this money that did you give you any of this when you landed to have money in France or no?
Oh yeah, I think $50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you really, oh yeah, I had a sheet of paper I put in all the boats and cities and et cetera that.
Okay. What about this map? Is
Yeah.
okay? Is this one of the maps that just shows the area that you were in?
Yes, but I have a silk map.
You have a silk map.
Oh, several.
Oh, those are yeah. People are very familiar with those.
Yeah. Let's see.
McNamara? Huh.
No, you realize that I'm a pack rat.
Well, looks like you kept some pretty cool stuff.
When I was home, Mother had gone to Kroger store
Mm-hmm.
and purchased some foodstuffs, and with that, they gave a small camera, candid camera. I took it with me.
Okay.
For the 126 film, very small,
Yeah.
small pictures. All these are taken with that, but they've been blown up. And you may not find me in here because I'm the one taking the pictures.
So what train is it? What train is that? Is that in France or is that in England?
Let me see if I can. Oh no, that's the 48.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So when anyone had to go to the John, these things you don't put in a speech. Go to the John and they yell down the line, they're taking a crap. So everybody pulls in because when you're going along.
It's just how it comes.
Right.
Yep.
And there's just.
Is that you right there?
That's me. Yeah.
So how tall were you back then? You seem like a tall guy.
6'2", I think.
Yeah, so you were tall. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, here's Obolinski, I think.
And so this is placing flowers at Memorial. This is August 44 with the help of the underground. You just captured the town. Okay.
Yeah. And Obolinski loved to put on parades, even in the middle of a fight.
Oh, really?
There's the hydroelectric plant.
Right here.
This is the barn we stayed in.
That's the Ritz barn.
That's the Ritz barn.
Okay.
Okay, and this was the hydroelectric plant. We were told that it was booby-trapped,
Okay.
but fortunately we found out that was misinformation. But there's our group of 50, and them.
Did any of these men? Were there any casualties from this raid?
No.
Okay.
We had casualties in China, but not
Not in France.
not in France. No. Sorry, I gotta.
No, go ahead.
I'm not holding you up, am I?
Not at all. We came here to hang out with you today. In fact, let us know when you need a break or something to drink, and we'll move all this crap out of your way so you can do that.
In before the OGs, we were in an OG, that's operating group.
So could you talk a little bit about the Jedburghs?
Yeah, I wanted to find out this. This is what I was looking for was oh yeah, we also did a little reconnaissance work
Okay.
in Washington, right here.
Oh, so who's that?
Well, that's what we were finding out.
Oh, okay.
That's me.
Yeah.
And they worked at the Pentagon, and McGuire.
Now they're quite attractive. Looks
Well,
like
this took a lot of time. You just don't rush into things like that.
That's right.
But I had to say that because of my wife.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she'd think I was doing something wrong.
That's right. You're just out recon,
Well, yeah. You just never know what situation you're going to be in.
Exactly.
I had Carl Colby's, who was the son of Bill Colby, who was the head of the CIA.
Oh, that Colby.
Yeah.
And how did you know him?
He called up and wanted to have an interview, and he was here for 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how long ago was this?
Couple.
A couple years ago?
No, since I've been. Here's Adolf.
So where did you get those from?
Out of the hydroelectric plant.
Oh, these are like for letters home to.
Yeah. So, well, Adolf and I were buddies.
Oh, yeah, all right. I could tell. Well, you guys were looking for them.
Right. That's the truth.
Boy, I wonder how much those stamps are worth now.
I don't know. It'd be interesting
Yeah.
to go to a trade thing. The Jedburghs.
Yeah, so tell me about the Jedburghs. What did they
Jedburghs
do?
were a group of three. An American officer, in our case a French officer, and a radio operator.
Okay.
And they would go in, three of them, and contact all the underground they could sign up. And
like before you guys jumped.
that's right, before we jumped, and question where we could jump, where we could live, what all the faculties and etc.
So how soon before your jump would they put these guys out there?
Well, it's a good question. That would depend on the extent of their of what they found out.
So like if they knew less, they'd go out there earlier than if they knew more, I guess.
Yeah, they would. They'd make it so we could get in without being detected.
Yeah.
And
well, that sounds dangerous. Having there's just three guys behind enemy lines. I mean,
yeah. That would be dangerous.
Yeah. How do you sign up for? Who signs up for that duty?
Well, good question.
I mean, it's bad enough when you send 20 guys in there with a commando raid, but then you have these three guys that go in before that.
Yeah, and some of them live, stay in there a couple of months, I suppose. Maybe shorter, depending on what the movement of the war is. And anyway, they go and set up all this stuff, and then they call in the OGs. That's us.
Yeah.
Now we do the dirty work.
Yeah.
They get all the fun. We get all the okay. Let me see. Most were killed in the. Oh shoot! My eyes are not good either.
It's all right.
One French officer being been beheaded. Another being bayoneted to death. They lived a
precarious life, apparently.
Precarious life, yeah. I'm looking for that on the bottom. Wait a minute. I thought I remembered. Huh. Anyway, they said that if any Jedburghs are found, they're to be slaughtered on sight.
Was that in China and
France?
In France, okay.
In France.
All right.
But that's all.
Are you looking for the language about what would happen if you got captured?
Yep.
Do you want me to paw through that and take a look at it? Let me take a look. There we go. Everything is stuck in here. Do you mind if I look through here? I mean, to be honest with you, this is like amazing. We don't always get. Let me pause this. Yeah, we don't always get this sort of thing when I interview somebody, that they have it documented this well, like Patrick Group. That must have been the name of the group that you were a part of.
That was
the OG?
Our group, yeah. Oh, maybe it's.
Here it is, I think. Yeah, affecting all phases of any, maybe say OSS, both American and foreign uniform and civilian penetrating military. Maybe explained at T forces as the vanguard. Allies, brave, courageous associate. Permissible.
I don't like to drink in front of you guys, but
No, have
Right.
at it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just taking a look at this.
Bottoms up.
So is this some of the forbidden disclosures, like any activity of the OSS? Oh no, this is for you, not being captured. You couldn't talk about any activity from the OSS,
that's right.
any information of any kind from the from other sources, no details of the operations, any reference of any kind. Here's your honorable discharge. Yeah, you were a tall dude. Halford. Well, this is amazing. It's from '02. Pete Hoekstra. So yeah, member of Congress here locally.
Right.
Maybe it's Hoekstra. This is. I mean, yeah. This is. I mean, this is really special. The British, the parachute school, not only for the OSS, but the British was really like world renowned. It's like the base for what special forces do now.
Yeah.
Where'd you get this?
Out of the hydroelectric plant.
No kidding.
I was looking for a flag, but
Well,
the best I could do was pick up that.
yeah, well you did. And the School of Death. And what's this one?
Well, that was an envelope that was laying on the desk. I'll stick it in my pocket.
Okay. It's from September of 1945.
Yeah.
These were disbanded in September. Okay, so that was when you guys were
There's-
disbanded.
There's a picture, a map on here.
Oh,
by
I
the-
see it.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm gonna look through there if you want to put this down. And in fact, what I'm gonna do now is probably switch modes and just take.
Was the interpretation of the writing.
Yeah.
And it's old Japanese writing, not the new Japanese writing. It's the old Japanese writing, and it was probably worth a fortune. I'll sell it for $100,000.
Yeah. Fair enough. a deal at twice the price. All right,
So-
you guys can roll that up again. I got that on camera. So you got that from your interpreter while you were over there.
Right.
And really quick, there's a Japanese government rupee that's in India.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind this?
I don't know. I just saved it all.
Fair enough. Is this the picture you took?
That was a picture of the training of the Chinese commandos.
Okay.
That showed out of a C-47.
And here's some more. They're descending, and this is the clinic and a hospital at Kunming.
Yep.
Down Japanese aircraft. Who's this? Is that you?
It could be. I don't know. Probably.
I don't know either. There's a graduating class right there. So this is what you guys are doing over there.
That's one of the classes. There were several. But the interesting part, we were issued the First World War, and let's see.
Oh, the 06 rifle?
Yeah, the 06.
Yeah.
The Enfield was the English. What was
I think so. We had the 06 Springfield, and then they would have had the Enfield,
yeah.
if I remember correctly.
Well, anyway, the Chinese were built with strong legs but weak arms, because all they had to do was carry a pogo stick, and the legs were the manufactured. That's the Salween River Bridge.
I remember you writing about that in the book about how concerned you guys were crossing that.
Crossing.
And then the
Right.
local said something to the effect of, "Well, we've seen Japanese tanks go over it, so
Yeah.
I guess you'd be all right."
Yeah. But
Who is this
Anyway,
group? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to tell you about the carrying of the weight
Yep.
and the shooting of a gun. their arms were short, and no matter how far you jam the gun up to the shoulder, sometimes they couldn't read the trigger, couldn't reach the trigger. So.
Yeah. So did they have to modify the guns to fit them or
Nope.
not? No.
They had better learn to straddle the butt under the arm in their armpit rather than the shoulder.
So before I go into the rest of these pictures, let's talk more about China. So I think if I remember correctly from your book, you made it over into China in like mid 1945. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, what was your mission in China? And tell us a little bit about what you were doing.
Okay, there were 3 groups that finally graduated as commandos. So there was each group was about 200 people.
These Chinese that you were training.
Right.
Okay.
We ended up with just 181 because some of them were disqualified because of physical or mental abilities or inabilities. But anyway, we were Blueberry, and we had the option of, not the option, but the requirement of going into Hengyang, Paoqing, Changsha rice triangle. That's like our wheat and corn out west.
Yep.
Okay, that was the mainstay of the Chinese people, and the Japanese were taking all the rice from that area and shipping it to Japan because they had a war going on. So that left the Chinese to starve. Then our objective was to stop the flow of rice out of China into Japan, and that was our main concern. So we decided, I shouldn't say we decided, it was decided that we should hit the headquarters, and if we can stop the headquarters from, that's like shooting the heart, the body will dry out.
Yeah.
So about 5 days after we landed, when we came in, by the way, at 1,200 feet, and we flew in about 10,000 feet because we had to be above rifle shot and that sort of thing. So when we came down to parachute at 1,200 feet, we hit extreme heat, 110 in the shade, and heat exhaustion was very common. And I took off every particle of clothing that I had except for my gun belt, which contained my .45, and I let the Chinese haul that all by themselves. You couldn't even wear a hat. It was that bad.
Holy cow.
But the Chinese had a potion that brought us all out of it very, very fast.
What was it?
Tea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hot tea.
Hot tea.
Hot tea, and within a few days we were all ready to go.
Okay.
And our objective, of course, was to stop the rice flow. So we headed to the area, which I think was about 25 miles, and we walked that area and hit the Japanese the following morning. It would be on about the 6th of September, I think. Yeah. And we split the. Oh no, we had spoken to the Chinese Chinese underground nationalist army, I should say, and the guerrillas. There we are. And we made a deal with them that we would take the frontal assault naturally. So, and the Nationalist Army would have the right flank, and the guerrillas would have the left flank, and we'd attack very early in the morning before they were out of bed, and that's when we didn't lose, that we had collateral damage. One man was shot in the abdomen, came out of his rib cage in the back, and the other one was hit just below the subclavian artery. You know where that is.
No.
And
Actually,
well,
somewhere by your she probably knows,
the
but
clavicle.
yeah, right behind your shoulder blade.
Right.
Yeah.
And fortunately, it was below the artery, so he didn't bleed a lot.
So you guys were attacking frontally this headquarters.
Yeah.
And that's when these guys got wounded.
Yeah.
And so you had to go
Right.
fix them, right?
Right.
So what was that like? Because you said you didn't have any.
Well, I had a Band-Aid. I put.
Well, I mean, you didn't have anybody in France that you had to do that with, I don't think. Was this the first time you had to take care of like a combat casualty?
That's right.
And what was that experience like for you as the medic?
Well, I just went by the books, and he had a hole in his back. I cut up a piece of plastic that I had taped, closed the wound so they wouldn't be breathing from outdoors, and lose he could lose his lung or
Yeah,
et cetera.
collapse. Yeah.
Collapse, yeah. And Roy Gallant was lucky. He was an old, not an old one, but he was a lumberjack from Maine. He was tougher than rawhide, and he walked all the way back with a
Was that the one that got shot in the stomach?
shoulder. No,
Shoulder.
the other guy we took off our fatigue clothes.
Yeah.
That's what we wore when we were in China, and made a leader out of it. Laid him on that and hauled him back. We were called in a C-47, an L5 Piper Cub,
Yeah.
and they hauled him out.
So what happened during the battle? What's your recollection of what was
Well,
going on?
well, mass confusion, of course.
Yeah.
It's our first sergeant. They called me Johnny. So Johnny, let's go to the right. So we're going to the right. The machine gun start. We hit the dirt, but you could see the ping, 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 the bullets kicking up the. Boy, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
There's no place to be. So Van Timmeren, his name was, and so Van got up and ran. And I thought, well, now would be a good time to go because they're going to concentrate on him and not me. So my speedy little legs just pumping like pistons, and I was ahead of them. So, then of course, they used pill boxes, and that's where Roy and Miller got shot because Captain said, we got to get rid of that pill box. Well, you know, they built the pill boxes. It wasn't just a dome of cement. They had little walkways in between, so you never know what you could hit. Even if you got in there, we were able to drop a hand grenade in, you might not even hit anything. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
So
were you able to conquer the headquarters, or was it too well defended?
Well, we expected one of the movements on the right or the left. Come on, boys, where's your turn to bat?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were far enough away, watching, so it was ineffective.
Yeah.
So we're the ones that got the bulk of the thing. But we eliminated about 50 Japanese and probably close to that in our group.
Yeah. And again, like you said, psychologically, you also let them know, look, we're out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not alone anymore.
But see, it would have been good if if we'd gotten some support from our flanking,
Yeah.
but no,
Was it were the Chinese commandos not quite up to that?
no,
Yeah.
no, they weren't.
Yeah.
So, and then of course the bomb was dropped.
What was your reaction to that?
What's an atomic bomb? You know, we were curious. We'd like to know what an atomic bomb was.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's it. We've been here for a couple of hours.
we have.
We have. What I'd like to do, if you're okay, is take some pictures of some things, and then ask you some quick follow-up questions. I was wondering if you'd be okay if I came back out here again to talk with you more about this. Jim, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're
just to
saying.
spend an hour or so with you.
I have nowhere to go.
Okay. So.
They sold my car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shelley, why'd you do that? What's going on?
I would never do
Well,
that.
not only that, you should see what I have to wear on my ankles.
Oh. Do you get in trouble? Got ankle brace on there?
Yeah, I know it. Well, they won't let you go anywhere.
I guess not. Okay. You got him in a cage.
We
What's going
do
on?
not. I need to know everybody loves our Adam.
Right. Because it would be good to come back out here. What is there any way that I could come out here maybe tomorrow morning and hang out with you for a little while? Maybe an hour or so? Or you
Let
got
me
something going
see.
on?
I have to get my secretary.
Okay.
You understand that?
Wait, you have tomorrow. Is it tomorrow that you have those people coming out here on that card that you showed me? You have something going on tomorrow or the next day?
I have something going on tomorrow, and yeah.
The card is like
Because I won't be out here because I live in Denver. I grew up out here. That's my dad. That's my sister.
Yeah.
But I live in Denver. I'm here visiting.
Yeah.
And like I said, Shelley sent me this for my birthday in May.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this guy? She goes, oh, he's one of the people that we take care of. And so I feel really honored to be able to sit here and talk to you about this. But there's so many more questions I have to ask you, and I'd like to do it another time when we're both more
Well,
rested.
I have my grandson coming tomorrow for lunch. He always comes every Friday,
Yeah.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Good.
and he and his wife, and then I have
it's on your calendar, Al.
it's on my calendar. Yeah.
Okay, did you want to check for him in there?
Yeah.
He's asking for a couple.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
You see that?
I can. So is you looking for the
Yep.
8th?
Troy,
Why don't you
Looks
go
like
for the
Troy at 1:00
There you
p.m.
go.
1:00.
Because I'm flying out tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
If you're free, I wouldn't mind coming out here, in the morning when you're up and around. But if
Well,
you have things
what-
going on, then we won't.
What's wrong with doing it now?
Are you getting tired?
Tired?
Okay, because if you're
Moi?
ready, we can keep going. I just don't want. I just try to be respectful of your schedule as
Oh.
well.
Forget respect.
Okay. Well then, let's do this. Can you take us through this book and tell us a little more about it?
Yes.
Or better yet, what do you
Yeah.
want to convey with us? What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
Then let's do
What-
this.
You do it. You're running the show.
Okay, but I don't want to. Like I said, I don't want to
Forget
make
that.
you too tired. All right.
Well,
So let's, if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind having you talk more about this. So who are these scofflaws?
Oh, I don't know who sent me this thing, but
Thank you.
I don't know. This might have been a group of Australians,
Okay.
but
They look like some of the guys I grew up with.
yeah, this had no bearing on my particular
Okay.
situation.
All right. Well, let's flip through some of these and see what you. I'd like to hear your comments on them.
Huh. That's a familiar face, but I can't remember the name. Oh, this was taking it back home.
Is this when you were on leave?
Yeah, that's when I was on leave.
Okay.
So that's
So this was the leave that you left early.
Right.
Because you were just like, all right, my friends are gone. I can't tell anyone what I'm doing.
right. There was no one around.
Okay, so here's a train from
Okay.
Bombay to Calcutta.
Yeah.
So what's your recollections of that? Do you remember
Oh,
what you
no.
saw?
They stopped every once in a while, and the Red Cross would furnish a sandwich or a cigarette
Mm-hmm.
or whatever they wanted to do to poison you.
Okay.
And when we got to China, we didn't have a rifle range.
Okay.
But we took care of that by talking to the mayor and said, Mayor, the only area around here for a rifle range would be the cemetery. And he says, okay, but you have to remove the bodies and reinter them.
And that's
So
what you
these-
guys did?
Yeah, so that's what we ended up with,
Wow.
is a
And so,
rifle range
Yeah.
in a cemetery.
Okay.
And that's, oh yeah. I didn't get many pictures of China because we weren't in there. We weren't there long enough,
Okay.
and we were only in the field. Well, what? When was the bomb dropped?
Like August, like 8th or something like that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
August. See, from about 25th of July to the 8th of August, officially, and then we didn't get out until the end of September.
Well, so what were you doing between the war ending and you finally getting out of there?
Well, we were told to stay another 30 days. So we moved ourselves into Hanyang. That was the bottom part of the triangle. Hanyang, Paoching, Changsha, Rice Triangle. And there we just existed. I had infirmary call every morning. There were people that wanted that. I think some of the Chinese communists defected, went over to the enemy, and I treated for, I don't know, one gal lived on a boat down the river somewhere. Boat people, which was common in those days, and I treated her for cancer, but
What
you
do you
couldn't
do?
do much.
Yeah.
But she thought there were magic pills. I gave her a handful of aspirin,
Yeah.
but it just occupied our time. That
So
was about it.
you mentioned the communists. I mean, the war's over. The Japanese are still there. They're still armed.
They're still armed,
So
right?
what did you experience during this
Well-
transition from Japanese occupation to now a civil war?
Well, I guess I didn't I was so young.
Yep.
That was, youth is wasted on the young.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. So, if I had known we were going to go through something like this, I probably would have been more cognizant of where I was and what I was doing.
Could you hear the communist and the nationalist troop fighting in that area or not?
No, not in that area there
Yeah.
particularly, but I did experience that when we got back to Kunming.
You did.
Well, they took all our weapons away from us.
So what happened when you got to Kunming? Tell us about that.
Well, there we had to wait in order to get back over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd taken our weapons, and that left the communists and the nationalists at war with each other, and we could hear them shooting at night. But there was nothing you could do about it. You'd live inside your mud hut.
Yeah, so what were the conditions in
Well,
Kunming, you mentioned a mud
the-
hut.
the proverbial outhouse, which
Really?
was out, and we had, of course, we had food. We had meals every day, 3 meals.
So who was feeding you? How big of a U.S. presence was there at this time?
Well, there was quite a few in Kunming.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was the base, the
Well, that's kind of what a relationship is, right?
yeah,
That's awesome. What's her name?
Arlene.
Arlene. Nice.
Right, she plays the piano out here without music.
Really? She just
Oh yeah,
plays.
just plays. Name that tune. You name it. Oh yeah, that one. She plays that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
So, she's just a youngster though. She's 89.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what they say about these younger women, you gotta be careful.
So anyway, that's wherever we were.
So Kunming was something that was pretty remote. How did you get? Oh, tell me about your homecoming. How did you get over the hump and then
Well,
home?
of course, there was no problem because they just packed everybody in the plane till the plane was full and it took off, and another one came back, and they had the C-41, C-45,
Yeah.
the big transport. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was easy. It was just a matter of waiting in line till your turn came up.
And then where did you go from there?
Calcutta. And then we got on board ship and came back to Seattle.
Okay. You mentioned that when you were in Calcutta in your book, you had a chance to get some jewelry
Oh yeah.
for, I guess, people back home.
Well, yeah. We see they didn't ship. They didn't give us any money. They held up pay up for I think 6 months, and with that, with some cigarettes. Because I think we got 6 cartons, was it, for a month,
Okay.
something like that, and 4 cigars,
Yeah.
which everybody choked on. But they stayed up. They stayed all that up, so I had a wad of dough and all these cigarettes. So I said to my interpreter, "Why don't we go sell these cigarettes?" So we went down in restricted areas, which you couldn't enter
Yeah.
except how we were taught by the OSS.
Yeah.
And I got rid of them. So I had a couple $100, I think. Then when we got to Calcutta, well, I know there's a bazaar. I remember reading that somewhere. So we found the bazaar, and I was going to buy my father something like a cigarette case or something like that. He was a smoker. And I was going to get my sister something and my mother something, and I was going to do grand things with all that money. And I ended up buying my sister a compact and my dad
Cigarette case.
a Zippo lighter.
Oh, a Zippo lighter. Okay.
A Zippo lighter,
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
with rubies in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So mother got nothing, which she's probably used to it anyway.
Right.
And so then we went home.
What was homecoming like?
Well, take probably 6 months out of that, the story and what happened to all the guys have filled the positions for jobs, and they've all gotten new clothes, and et cetera, and so it's a ho-hum reunion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you came home pretty late, like in
Well,
the,
sure,
yeah,
it was late, yeah,
it was.
right.
Yeah. What did you end up doing after the war?
Pardon?
What did you end up doing after the war?
Oh, after the war? Well, I went to JC for junior college. I got my associate's degree, and then I got married, and then my wife had the baby. I didn't.
Yeah, good.
And That's the picture of him there.
Oh, okay.
And
What's the girl?
girl first and then the boy.
Oh, they're both there. And what are their names?
Nancy and James.
Okay.
Nancy Louise and James Allen.
All right. And what are they up to these days?
Well, my daughter, she's got a wild streak in her, just like me.
Okay.
She married a guy and they bought motorcycles, and they rammed around in those things, and he got killed riding his.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But she found another motorcyclist, so, and I don't know where they are, but he was from Alaska, so they might even be up there.
Okay.
So, and my son, well, he produced a minister, and one of the sons is the heating and cooling chief cook and bottle washer at the St. Mary's Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So he's got a good job. And the third one, I think he's into computers.
Okay.
So I never see him.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's about it.
Okay. Well, do you mind if I take? We're gonna end the video part of this. I always like to ask this question at the end. Is there, when you think back at your time in the service, in the OSS, and all the things you did, do you think do you think it altered the path of your life? Do you think it changed the way you thought about things?
I don't think so. I don't. I can't recall anything that would be that way. By the way, just take a step back. I married the girl next door finally.
The girl next door?
Yeah.
Like literally?
Literally.
Your next door neighbor girl?
Yeah, I didn't meet her until after I got out of the service, until I got home.
So you said homecoming wasn't eventful, and
I
now
know,
you're
I
telling
forgot
me you
that.
met your wife. She was right there next door.
Got the picture over there.
What's her name?
Jeanette.
Jeanette. And you said she passed away
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. She was 2 years older than I.
How many years were you guys married?
74.
My Lord.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
It was good. She was a good gal. She was
Apparently.
game at anything.
That's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
she put up with you for all those years.
That's the most remarkable.
That's saint-like, if you ask
Right.
me. I tell you what, I've enjoyed getting to meet you. I'd like to come back and chat with you more when it works for your schedule.
Yeah, but what's that going to do with your schedule?
Yeah, I'll figure it out. What about Doug? Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask?
I had a follow-up question going back to France, and then you answered a little bit when you were in China, but my question was, when you worked with the resistance, when you worked with the French, was there, I don't want to say conflict, but was there trouble because, who was in charge of the operation? I'm assuming you guys were, but did you have any issues with controlling what they did, or were they pretty disciplined?
Our men, you mean?
No, the French.
Oh.
So you guys would lead the operation, I assume,
Yeah.
but you had them working with you. Was there any conflict with that?
No.
No, okay.
No.
And they stayed
They're-
pretty disciplined, and you
Oh,
didn't have
yeah.
any issues with them going
Well,
off
they were under German boots
Gotcha.
for a number of years. They were not happy with the Germans,
Got it. Okay.
and so they would be very cooperative if anybody could help them,
Okay.
and we did what we could to furnish what we brought along, and they were happy for it.
Okay.
Did you ever see any of the Japanese soldiers after they surrendered?
Oh yeah, in Kunming, Hanyang, that's where we stationed ourselves. They were all marched. They would march down the street with guns at shoulder.
How did you feel about that?
Well, yeah,
I mean, you were just attacking them.
that's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I guess you do what you have to do with what you got. What are you going to say? You know, they outnumbered us by a large number. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I'm going to end the video segment.
Try.
Thermometer, no, I had a compass,
Okay.
a rectal compass.
Yeah, it's you could hide it, obviously.
I don't know where it is now. 'Cause I was planning on.
We've interviewed some POWs, and they can be. Could you help with that, Doug? They can be really creative with where those compasses went.
Hold this. You can catch it.
Because they made you. That is a saw. That was put in your boot so that they wouldn't find it.
Oh, can I touch it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at that. That's incredible. Okay, so that was a way that you could try to escape.
That's right.
All right, here. There you go. Wow, that's awesome.
And they were given a sulfanilamide, sulfanilamide packet, which was the latest, finest thing in the.
Was that a suicide pill? The sulfa? What was? Oh, it was a sulfa anti.
Yeah.
That was basically like penicillin back
That's
then.
penicillin, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
When
Sulfa
penicillin
powder.
came out, that immediately made that bad. You want me to open it?
Oh, please do. We'll make room right over here in that. And that is the silk map that I've heard so much about.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is
The
incredible.
reason it was silk because it wouldn't mold.
Yeah. That's incredible. Okay, now Doug, you want to help him fold that up? That's since he took all that time folding it or unfolding it.
Is it the same on both sides?
No, I think it's two different areas.
Oh, that is awesome. Let me get some photos of this too. When you jumped, you would have had this map. Of course, all your equipment, sulfa powder,
Yeah.
your escape blades,
Right.
your hacksaw. Did they? We tried to find this earlier, but did they? I think it goes like flip flop. I think, or maybe not.
No, it looks like it's continuing to fold. Yeah.
Is it doing it that way? Oh yeah, that's right. You got it. Sorry. If you were captured by the Japanese or the Germans, now, you said what happened to the Hedbergs if they had been captured by the Germans.
Yeah.
I mean, what about you guys? What about
Same thing.
That's what I thought.
Same thing. Yeah.
Because you would have been seen as
Well, you're seen as spies.
spies, yeah.
Because you're across the line.
Yeah, because I was going to say non-combatant, but that's not true. It would have been a spy.
I don't think they honored that.
I agree. Okay.
Geneva Convention.
Yeah.